Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're your shortcut to getting up to speed on the important stuff happening around the world.
That's right. Today is September 17th, 2025, and we're doing, well, another deep dive into some really compelling stories.
Our goal, like always, is to pull out the key insights, the important details from, a whole range of topics.
Exactly. We want to help you understand not just what's going on, but maybe why it matters, and sometimes find the surprising links between different events.
We try to keep the conversation clear, engaging, make complex stuff a bit easier to grasp.
Yeah, so you can tune in while you're, I don't know, walking the dog, cooking dinner, working out, whatever fits your day.
And just a quick note for our listeners who are using this to practice their English, we do keep the pace pretty natural, but maybe just a touch slower than, say, rapid fire news.
And if it ever feels a bit fast, most podcast apps let you slow it down. Maybe try 0.75x speed. Might help catch everything.
Good tip. Okay, so what's on the agenda for today's deep dive? Looks like quite a mix.
It really is. We're starting with technology and science, and this one. It's fascinating, maybe a little unsettling. AI-designed viruses.
AI-designed viruses. Okay, that sounds like sci-fi. We'll need to unpack that.
Definitely. We'll look at the incredible potential for medicine, but also, yeah, the big ethical questions and cybersecurity risks it brings up.
Right. Then we shift to finance.
We do.
Wow.
We're looking at Nigeria's massive Dangote Refinery. It's huge, and it's already shaking up the global fuel market in some really interesting ways.
Sending ripples across continents, it says here. Okay.
Yeah.
What else?
Sports. Some big news for anyone dreaming of the Olympics. We've got details on when tickets for the Los Angeles 2028 games are going on sale.
LA28. That'll be huge. People want to know that.
Then, a bit of entertainment. We're getting a look inside Victoria Beckham's new Netflix docuseries. Her journey, the fashion world, personal struggles should be quite revealing.
After David's series. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And finally, art and culture. A bit of a mystery unfolding in Cairo at the Egyptian Museum.
Yeah.
A rare pharaonic bracelet. It's vanished.
Wow, okay. From pop stars to pharaohs, quite the range. Where should we start? That AI virus story sounds impactful.
Agreed. Let's jump right in there. It definitely feels like the place to begin.
Technology and science, AI-designed viruses, and cybersecurity threats.
Okay, so kicking off our deep dive today, we are plunging right into the real cutting edge of science, artificial intelligence, literally designing life forms. And it's not just, tweaking things that already exist. Researchers at Stanford and the Arc Institute, they've used AI to design functional viral genomes from scratch.
Pretty much, yeah. It's a huge step.
It sounds like a monumental leap. So can you help us understand what they mean by generative design of complete genomes, and what are these AI-designed viruses?
Right. So generative design, it basically means the AI isn't just editing an existing genetic code, like using, CRISPR or something. It's creating entirely new blueprints. Think of it like an AI artist that doesn't just modify a photo, but generates a completely new image based on thousands it's seen.
Ah, okay. Makes sense.
So here, this AI model, they called it EVO. It's a large language model. It was trained on this massive library, like 2 million existing bacteriophage genomes.
2 million? Wow.
Yeah. And from all that data, EVO learned the patterns, the rules, and then designed 302 new genomes, completely novel designs.
And do they work? I mean, designing is one thing, but...
That's the kicker. They synthesized these designs, and 16 of them actually successfully replicated. They made copies of themselves, and they did their job. They killed E. coli bacteria.
16 work. That's amazing.
It really is. It's the first time we've seen experimental proof that AI can design a whole functional genome. And the researchers talk about this steerable design, meaning they can potentially guide the AI to create phages with specific properties, going beyond what, natural evolution might produce.
Steerable design.
And what's really fascinating, almost startling, is that some of these AI phages were actually more infectious, better at killing the bacteria than the natural versions they were sort of based on.
More infectious, even though the AI made big changes to the genome.
Exactly. Changes a human biologist probably wouldn't have thought of or, wouldn't have rationally designed that way. It shows the AI can explore possibilities outside our usual biological intuition. That's the profound part.
That distinction that it's generating new functional code, not just editing. Yeah, that really hits home how big this is. Now, you mentioned these are bacteriophages. Phages, they infect bacteria, right?
Yeah.
Not human cells.
Correct. That's a really crucial point for safety context. These specific viruses only target bacteria.
Okay, so if they target bacteria, that immediately makes you think about potential medical uses,
Yeah.
like antibiotic resistance. That's a huge crisis globally.
Absolutely. That's the most immediate and probably most exciting potential application. We're running out of effective antibiotics for some bacteria, these so-called superbugs.
Right.
So these AI-designed phages, they could become highly targeted therapies. Instead of a broad-spectrum antibiotic that kills good bacteria along with the bad.
Like a carpet bomb, yeah.
Exactly. These phages could be designed or steered to hunt down and destroy only specific harmful drug-resistant bacteria, like a precision-guided missile.
A smart bomb for bacteria. I like that analogy.
Yeah. It minimizes damage to the patient's own microbiome, which is really important. It's incredibly promising for treating infections that right now we're really struggling with.
So beyond just treatment, maybe diagnostics too.
Potentially, yes. You could use engineered phages, perhaps, to quickly identify specific bacterial strains in a patient sample. Faster diagnosis means faster, more effective treatment. Being able to rapidly design new phages to counter newly emerging resistant bacteria, that could honestly be a game changer for public health.
The potential is just, wow. But okay, let's address the elephant in the room. AI-designed viruses. Even if they're currently only targeting bacteria, that phrase alone makes you nervous.
Understandably.
You hear about misuse, the slippery slope argument. Experts like J. Craig Venter, the genome pioneer, they've warned about viral enhancement research. So what are the real ethical and, I guess, biosecurity concerns here? How serious is the risk someone could use this technology for harm?
It's the absolutely critical flip side of the coin, and we have to talk about it alongside the potential benefits. Venter's caution is rooted in the sheer power of this kind of technology. While these phages are harmless to us, the concern is about the precedent. Where does this lead? The slippery slope argument basically says, okay, current AI maybe can't design something complex like HIV or dangerous coronavirus.
Yeah.
But what about future AI? More data, better algorithms? Could someone theoretically eventually use these tools to design pathogens harmful to humans? That's the fear. A motivated, malicious actor getting their hands on this kind of power.
Right. But how realistic is that right now? Are there barriers?
There are definitely significant practical barriers, especially right now. Designing more complex organisms, like bacteria, let alone human cells, requires exponentially more data than designing these relatively simple phages.
Okay.
And the cost and complexity of actually synthesizing that DNA, it's huge. We're talking millions of dollars and potentially years of work just for a simple bacterial genome. It's not something someone can just whip up in their garage.
That's reassuring, somewhat.
It is. So while the long-term theoretical risk needs very careful thought, international agreements, robust biosecurity frameworks, the immediate threat of someone weaponizing human viruses using current AI and synthetic biology tools is still considered quite low. It's all about finding that balance, right? Encourage the innovation that could save lives, but build strong guardrails to prevent future misuse.
A delicate balance indeed.
Okay.
So that's the biological side. But this AI revolution also has massive implications for security in the digital world. Cybersecurity.
Oh, absolutely.
Generative AI is being used more and more in software development, which sounds great for efficiency, but you hear it also introduces new vulnerabilities. It feels like AI is speeding up both the good stuff and the bad stuff at the same time.
That's a perfect way to put it. It's definitely a double-edged sword. AI can accelerate development, no doubt. But studies are showing, worryingly, that like nearly half of AI-generated code snippets contain bugs that could potentially be exploited.
Half. That's high.
It is. And it's not just theory. We've seen real-world examples recently, big breaches. Look at the Mercedes-Benz source code leak in 2024.
I remember hearing about that one.
Yeah. The core issue there was a single hard-coded authentication token. Basically like embedding a password directly into the software code, which was then exposed on GitHub.
Ouch.
Big ouch. It exposed proprietary code, cloud keys, essentially handing over the keys to the kingdom. And that's exactly the kind of mistake an AI coding assistant, if not carefully supervised, could easily replicate or introduce, maybe even across lots of code without anyone noticing immediately.
Okay, so it can amplify human error or introduce its own. What other examples?
Well, there was the Microsoft AI data exposure in 2023. Massive. 38 terabytes of sensitive data passwords, private keys accidentally exposed.
How did that happen?
It was a misconfigured Azure storage URL in some open source code combined with an access token that was way too permissive. It basically gave the public full control over that storage. Shows how small configuration errors, especially when AI might be deploying things rapidly, can lead to disaster.
38 terabytes.
Incredible. And one more, the Prudential financial breach in 2024. Hackers got in through just one misconfigured account, accessed employee and contractor details, impacting millions of people.
So the common thread seems to be maybe not super sophisticated AI attacks, but AI potentially making existing types of errors more frequent or impactful.
That's a really good summary of the current situation. AI is amplifying existing vulnerabilities and human error, especially around things like credentials, configuration, and code quality, if not carefully managed.
It paints a pretty stark picture of the risks. But surely the defenders are using AI too, right? It can't all be bad news for cybersecurity.
Definitely not. And that's crucial context. It's important not to get too fatalistic. Many of the big attacks we saw in 2024, they didn't actually rely on some super advanced AI exploit.
Oh.
No, they often came down to, honestly, basic negligence. Stolen passwords, software that wasn't updated, simple misconfigurations, things we already know how to defend against.
So AI is maybe just making those old attacks easier or faster for the bad guys.
In many ways, yes. It's streamlining existing methods. Right now, purely AI-generated malware isn't necessarily more complex or dangerous than what skilled humans can create. Current AI models still struggle with producing really high-quality, complex, malicious code without significant human guidance.
Okay, but where is AI making a big immediate difference for attackers?
Social engineering, definitely.
Come on.
Phishing attacks powered by large language models are a huge concern.
Like writing really convincing fake emails.
Exactly. AI can craft highly persuasive emails, personalized, with perfect grammar. None of the usual telltale signs of a scam. That makes it much harder for people to spot them.
Yeah, I can see that being effective. So what's the defense strategy then?
It really comes back to fundamentals. Strong cybersecurity hygiene is more important than ever. Things like patching software quickly, using strong identity controls, multi-factor authentication is key, and, really importantly, continuous employee training to recognize these more sophisticated phishing attempts.
The human element is still critical.
Absolutely. And good threat intelligence, often AI-powered itself, helps organizations spot new attack patterns. And here's the positive side. AI is a powerful tool for defense, too.
How so?
AI and automation can massively speed up detecting threats and responding to them. Studies show companies using AI extensively in their security operations actually save significant money when a breach does happen, like an average of $1.8 million less per breach.
So they catch it faster and shut it down quicker.
Precisely. So AI presents new challenges, yes, but it also offers powerful solutions for defenders. The key takeaway is that vigilance, strong fundamentals, and smart use of defensive AI are absolutely critical as this technology keeps evolving.
That's a really balanced perspective. It's not just doom and gloom, but requires constant adaptation. Okay, a fantastic look at AI's impact, from designing viruses to defending networks. Now let's shift gears quite dramatically from the microscopic to the macroeconomic.
Finance Nigeria's Dangote Refinery reshapes global fuel market.
All right, our next deep dive takes us to Nigeria. We're talking about Aliko Dangote, Africa's richest person, and his absolutely colossal investment, the $20 billion Dangote Petroleum Refinery.
$20 billion, it's staggering.
It really is. It's the largest refinery in Africa, one of the biggest anywhere, actually. And the reason it's making headlines now is its growing impact on global fuel markets, including, surprisingly, recent exports all the way to the United States.
Yeah, that part definitely caught people's attention.
A Nigerian refinery shipping fuel to the United States.
Mm-hmm.
That feels like a major shift in how energy flows around the world. What's the story behind that?
It really signals a significant shift, and it's happening quickly. Getting into the U.S. market is a big deal. The first shipment, about 320,000 barrels, was handled by the trading house Vitol, sold to Sunoco, and it arrived in New York Harbor just earlier this month, September.
Okay, the first one landed.
And it wasn't a one-off. A second cargo, this one by Glencore going to Shell, is on a ship called the MH Dason, expected around the 19th. And a third one, again by Vitol on the Sea Explorer, should be there around the 22nd.
Wow, 3 shipments already hitting the U.S.
Exactly. And selling into the U.S. market is a huge stamp of approval because it shows the refinery can produce fuel that meets America's really strict quality standards. That's a major validation for a new facility.
Definitely a benchmark. Is it exporting elsewhere too?
Oh yeah, widely. Since it really ramped up operations around September 2024, it's exported over 1.1 billion liters of petrol. That's gone to markets across West Africa, which you'd expect, but also to Europe, the Middle East, even Southeast Asia.
A billion liters already. That's fast.
It is. What's really striking is just how quickly this massive plant, which, remember, only started up last year after some delays, is already not just meeting local needs, but actively redrawing global trade routes for refined fuels.
Yeah.
It's fundamentally changing Nigeria's position in the global energy game.
It really underlines Africa's growing role in energy supply, doesn't it? Now, as big as the global impact is, you have to think the impact within Nigeria is even more profound.
Absolutely.
Nigeria's always had this strange paradox, right?
Yeah.
Huge crude oil exporter, but imports almost all its gasoline and diesel. A massive economic drain. Is this refinery finally fixing that?
That's exactly what it was built to do, and yes, the early signs are that it's having a transformative effect domestically. For decades, Nigeria spent billions importing refined fuel, causing shortages, high prices, draining foreign reserves. It was a huge problem. The Dangote Refinery flips that script. Domestically, direct petrol delivery started hitting filling stations in 11 Nigerian states just a couple of days ago, September 15th. And they're selling it at a competitive price, around 820 naira per liter, which is roughly 55 US cents, for registered dealers.
Competitive pricing is key. What about the broader economic benefits? Jobs, cost savings?
The projections are massive. The refinery is expected to eventually handle up to 65 million liters of fuel per day. That scale should create something like 15,000 jobs, directly and indirectly, huge for employment.
15,000 jobs.
That's
significant.
And by cutting the need for imported fuel, the country could save over 1.7 trillion naira annually. That's well over $1 billion US in import costs. Plus, they're rolling out a big fleet, 4,000 trucks running on compressed natural gas to handle distribution across the country.
CNG trucks. Interesting. Sustainable distribution, too.
Yeah. So it's about energy security, economic independence, job creation. It really feels like a game changer for Nigeria itself.
It sounds incredibly positive, achieving these massive goals so quickly. But, projects this enormous, this complex.
Yeah.
They rarely go perfectly smoothly.
Yeah.
Have there been any dumps in the road, any technical problems as they ramp up?
Unfortunately, yes. Even a project of this scale isn't immune to challenges. While production has climbed impressively from about 350,000 barrels a day mid-last year towards 500,000 now, with a goal of 700,000, there have been setbacks.
Like what?
Most recently, just in early September, there was a reported leak of catalysts in the main gasoline production unit. Catalysts are essential for the chemical reactions in refining.
Okay, that sounds serious.
It is, potentially. It caused a temporary shutdown of the diesel unit, and worse, it might mean the whole gasoline-producing section needs to shut down for repairs for maybe 2 to 3 months.
2 to 3 months. That would definitely hit exports and local supply.
It certainly could in the short term. It really raises that important question, doesn't it? While the long-term vision is powerful, these kinds of technical issues really highlight how fragile complex energy infrastructure can be, and the absolute need for constant, rigorous maintenance and, backup plans. Even the newest, biggest facilities need constant care.
A sobering reminder. Now, speaking of the energy picture in Nigeria, Aliko Dangote himself hasn't been shy about criticizing the country's older, state-owned refineries, has he?
No, he's been quite blunt, actually. He comes from a private sector background focused on efficiency.
What's his main criticism, and how does his refinery stack up against him? It touches on that whole private versus state-run debate.
His core point is efficiency and financial viability. He's called the state refineries uncompetitive and financially draining. And the numbers seem to back him up. His refinery gets about 54% gasoline out of every barrel of crude.
54%, okay.
The state refineries, they apparently struggle to get even 18% gasoline, and they produce a lot of low-value, heavy fuel oil, which isn't really in demand. That's a massive difference in yield and profitability.
Huge difference.
And Dangote's warned that unless Nigeria creates a business environment where refining is genuinely profitable, you won't see other private investors jumping in. That could leave his refinery as the dominant, maybe only major player, which might limit competition down the line.
A potential monopoly situation?
Potentially, yeah. Now, the state oil company, the NMTC, says it is working to fix up its refineries. They talk about detailed technical reviews and rehabilitation efforts. They acknowledge the problems, but say they're committed to reviving those assets.
So it's a really dynamic situation, a huge private project changing the game while the state tries to revitalize its own infrastructure.
Yeah.
Fascinating interplay.
Absolutely. It shows the complex dance between private capital, national strategy, and the hard realities of modernizing critical industries.
Okay, from the high-stakes world of global energy, let's switch to another massive global event, one that brings people together for a very different reason.
Sports?
Sports Los Angeles 2028 Olympic Games tickets.
All right, shifting from oil barrels to Olympic medals. We've got some exciting news for sports fans everywhere. LA28, the organizers for the 2028 Los Angeles Summer Olympics, have finally announced when tickets will go on sale.
The moment many have been waiting for.
It seems like it. So the general timeline is ticket sales start in 2026 for the Olympics and then 2027 for the Paralympics. So it's still a ways off, but people need to start thinking about it.
Definitely. Planning for the Olympics takes time.
So for anyone hoping to actually be there in LA in 2028, what's the process? What do they need to do now or soon to get ready to buy those tickets?
Okay, the very first step is crucial. You need to register online. Go to the official LA28 website. That's LA28.org, starting in January 2026. That registration gets you into the system.
Register first. Got it. Does that guarantee a ticket? No, not immediately. After you register, you'll be entered into drawings. These drawings will assign specific time slots later in 2026 when you can actually log in and purchase tickets. It's their way of managing the massive demand fairly.
A lottery system for purchase times. Yeah.
There's also a nice touch for locals, people living near major venues like the Rose Bowl or Dodger Stadium. They'll get some form of early access.
That's good for those communities. Who's actually selling the tickets?
The official providers are AXS and Eventum. They'll handle sales globally through their own websites and apps and also through the main LA28 site. So stick to those official channels.
Right. What about those fancy hospitality packages?
Ah, yes, for the premium experience. A company called On Location is handling those. They'll offer exclusive packages, think premium seats, travel, accommodation, maybe special access. Those go on sale early 2026 as well, but on a first-come, first-served basis.
First come, first served for the high-end stuff. Makes
Okay.
sense.
Yeah, so it's this kind of multi-layered process trying to offer options from basic tickets right up to these really elaborate, once-in-a-lifetime Olympic trips. It's a complex system to get millions of spectators sorted.
It sounds like it. A multi-step dance, as you said.
Mhm.
Okay, the big question always is cost. Any idea on ticket prices? And where are these events actually happening?
Mhm.
Is everything right there in LA?
On pricing, LA28 has made a point of saying single tickets will start at just $28.
$28. That's surprisingly affordable for an entry point.
It is. They clearly want to make sure the games are accessible to a wide range of people, which is great. Of course, there'll be plenty of more expensive options, premium seats, packages, and so on.
Naturally. And the venues.
Yeah.
Iconic LA spots.
Definitely. You'll see events at classics like the Memorial Coliseum that's hosting the opening ceremony again, plus places like BMO Stadium, Crypto.com Arena, lots of familiar LA landmarks.
Cool. All in LA then.
Well, here's a twist. Not quite everything. Some specific events like canoe slalom and softball, they're actually going to be held in Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma City. Really? Why is that?
Yeah, it surprised some people too. It seems to be down to logistics and cost. Building highly specialized venues for sports like canoe slalom just for the Olympics can be incredibly expensive, and maybe Oklahoma City already had suitable facilities.
Okay, so practicality trumped keeping everything local. Interesting.
It means the games will be a bit more spread out geographically than some might expect. So it's a mix, iconic LA settings, but also the surprising Oklahoma City element, all while trying to keep some ticket prices accessible.
It certainly makes for a unique Olympic footprint. Now, LA hosting for the third time. That puts it in rare company with London and Paris. Huge honor. But big events bring big challenges. What else should people be aware of? Security. Ticket scams.
Excellent points. Security will, of course, be massive. Expect a very visible security presence, airport-style checks, restricted zones. It's just the reality of hosting a global event like this. Safety is paramount.
And scams. Always a risk with popular tickets.
A huge risk. We saw it with Paris 2024. Even though they had an official resale site, hundreds of fake websites popped up selling bogus tickets. People lost a lot of money.
Heartbreaking.
It really is. LA28 hasn't laid out its specific plans for resale yet, but the advice is always the same. Be extremely careful. Only buy from the official sellers AXS, Eventum, and the LA28 site. If a deal looks too good to be true, it almost certainly is.
Stick to official channels. Got it. Any other impacts?
Well, beyond the 2 weeks of competition, the Olympics always have a longer-term effect on the host city. LA is already seeing investments linked to the games, things like funding for local youth sports, programs for adaptive sports, maybe some infrastructure improvements. That legacy aspect is important too.
Right. It's more than just the event itself. Okay,
Yeah.
good practical advice there for potential attendees. Now, speaking of global spotlights and personal stories, let's move into the world of entertainment.
Entertainment, Victoria Beckham's Netflix docuseries.
Okay, from the Olympic stage to the Netflix streaming stage, we've got news about a big upcoming docuseries, Victoria Beckham. It's a three-part, special, promising, and intimate look at her life.
Yeah, following up on David's successful series last year.
Exactly. All 3 episodes drop on Thursday, October 9th. And the trailer kicks off with her saying something like, "People thought I was that miserable cow that never smiles. But I do, don't be shocked."
Setting the tone right away. Very self-aware.
Seems like it. So, Victoria Beckham stepping into the solo spotlight for this series. What are we expecting? What's the focus?
Well, it looks like it's going to chart her whole, really quite remarkable journey from being, by her own admission, a shy kid, to exploding onto the scene with the Spice Girls, and then this complete reinvention into a serious fashion designer, a mogul in that world.
That's quite an arc.
It really is. And the main themes seem to be resilience, reinvention, finding her own voice, and especially her battle for credibility in the fashion industry. You know, an industry that can be notoriously tough, especially for someone coming from pop music.
Yeah, I imagine she faced a lot of skepticism there.
For sure. And it's interesting, David mentioned in interviews that getting her to agree to this series, her own one, wasn't easy. But he really wanted people to see how hard she works. Victoria apparently found filming David's series quite liberating. She said she took an easygoing approach, so maybe that opened the door for this one.
Interesting.
Yeah, what seems really compelling is the promise of emotional depth. Getting behind the scenes of her brand, showing vulnerability. She posted on Instagram hinting it would be a different, more personal look than people might expect.
Going beyond the posh spice persona or the polished fashion designer image, the trailer hints at some tough times. Real struggle.
Oh, definitely. The trailer shows her getting emotional, actually choking up when she talks about a time her fashion brand was millions in the red.
Wow, millions.
Yeah, and she admits it made David panic.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just business stress. It hit their family life, too. It really shows the pressure she was under.
You really feel that pressure in the way she talks about it.
Yeah, she says something like, "I want my kids and David to be proud of me. It's taken so long to get to this point. I'm not going to let it slip through my fingers again." That really tells you about her drive, but also the fear of failure.
That's powerful. Does it go back further to her childhood?
It does. She talks about being an uncool kid at school that's awkward, how she desperately wanted to be liked, to feel worthy. And she says fashion became her creative outlet, her way of finding herself.
Connecting her childhood insecurities to her drive now. That's fascinating.
It really paints a picture of someone who's fought hard, overcoming internal stuff as well as external judgment to build what she has. It seems like it's aiming for a really candid portrait.
It sounds like it. Now, the Beckhams are obviously a very public family.
Oh,
Who
yeah.
else is involved? Do we see David and the kids?
Yes, David is definitely in it, offering his perspective. And their younger kids appear too. Romeo, who's 23 now, Cruz is 20, and Harper is 14. They'll likely add that personal family dimension.
Okay. What about their oldest, Brooklyn, and his wife?
That's a point people have noticed. The initial footage released didn't heavily feature Brooklyn, who's 26, or his wife, Nicola Peltz Beckham.
There were those rumors of a rift.
There were media reports about that, yes. Whether the series touches on that dynamic or just focuses elsewhere, we'll have to see. It's always tricky deciding what personal stuff makes it into these things.
True. How does the trailer end?
It ends on a funny note, actually. David teases her, saying he'd be proud even if she just made a good cheese and ham toastie. And she jokes back that she couldn't even manage that.
A bit of their humor coming through?
Exactly. It shows that glimpse of their relationship behind the headlines. So it really poses the question, right? How will showing these dynamics, the struggles, the family, the humor, change how people see this very public figure? It feels like a look at the human side of massive fame, that search for acceptance, even when you seemingly have it all.
Definitely sounds worth watching. A journey of self-discovery on a global stage. Okay, from the modern world of celebrity and fashion, let's take one last journey, this time way back into ancient history, for a story wrapped in mystery.
Art and culture disappearance of a pharaonic bracelet.
All right, for our final deep dive today, we're heading to Cairo, specifically to the iconic Egyptian Museum in Tahrir Square, where there's some rather alarming news.
Yeah, this one is quite
A
concerning.
rare golden bracelet has apparently disappeared, vanished from the museum's restoration lab. And it's not just any old artifact. It belonged to King Amenhotep of the 21st dynasty. Some reports also link it to King Susen's I, part of a very valuable royal collection.
A royal piece disappearing from inside the museum. That's serious.
It really is a priceless piece of history just
Yeah.
gone. What more do we know about this specific bracelet? Why is its disappearance such a significant loss?
Well, descriptions say it's gold, decorated with beads of lapis lazuli, that beautiful deep blue stone. Some sources get more specific, calling it a smaller bracelet from a set of 4 that belonged to King Susen's I, weighing about 600 grams of solid gold.
600 grams of gold.
Yeah.
Wow. Who is Susenna's I?
He reigned quite a long time ago, around 1047 to 1001 BC, third pharaoh of the 21st dynasty. He's sometimes called the Silver Pharaoh.
Silver, not gold.
Right, because back then silver was actually considered rarer and more valuable than gold in Egypt. They had to import it. And his tomb is incredibly important because, like Tutankhamun's, it was one of the very few royal tombs found mostly intact, not completely looted in antiquity.
So anything from that tomb is exceptionally rare.
Exceptionally rare and historically priceless. And adding to the drama here, the bracelet wasn't just sitting in the lab, it was being actively prepared for transport to Rome.
To Rome, why?
It was meant to be a key piece in a major international exhibition called Treasures of the Pharaohs, set to open there on October 24th. A huge show with 130 rare artifacts.
Oh no. So it vanished right before going on loan.
Exactly. This isn't just jewelry. It's a symbol of royalty, artistry, from a fascinating period. Its disappearance is a huge blow, a loss for global heritage, not just for Egypt.
Absolutely devastating. The timing makes it even worse. So what are the Egyptian authorities doing? How do you even begin to investigate something like this inside a major museum?
The response from Egypt's Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities was immediate. They launched a full investigation, brought in the police, the public prosecution, the whole 9 yards.
Standard procedure, I guess.
Right. And crucially, they've circulated images and details of the bracelet to all border crossings, airports, ports, land borders, trying to prevent it from being smuggled out of the country.
Trying to lock down the exits. What about inside the museum?
They're questioning all the staff who worked in the restoration department, checking logs of who went in and out. They've even confiscated the mobile phones of people who were present when it was being handled. Plus, a special committee is doing a full inventory check of everything else in the lab just to be sure nothing else is missing.
Thorough. But are there challenges? Is it easy to track what happened?
Well, here's the really worrying part. Apparently, there are no surveillance cameras inside the restoration labs.
No cameras. In the lab where they handle priceless artifacts.
That's what's reported. And officials are calling it a serious gap in the investigation. Without video footage, it's incredibly hard to know exactly what happened, when, who was involved. You're relying on interviews, logs, circumstantial evidence.
That makes it so much harder.
Oh.
So is it theft? Or could it be negligence? Lost somehow?
Right now, it seems unclear. It could be a sophisticated inside job, organized theft, or it could be a terrible case of carelessness, misplacement. They just don't know yet. But the lack of cameras in such a sensitive area is, frankly, shocking and highlights the huge challenge of protecting these items even behind the scenes.
It really does. It's astonishing. And sadly, museum thefts aren't unheard of globally, are they? Does this speak to broader issues in protecting cultural heritage?
It absolutely does. The well-known Egyptologist Zahi Hawass commented on this, actually. He clarified that some pictures floating around online weren't the missing bracelet, he specified. It's the smallest from that set of 4 from Susen's.
Okay.
But he also pointed out, look, thefts happen everywhere. He mentioned the big one at the British Museum last year, where 2,000 items went missing over time. It shows even major, well-funded institutions are vulnerable.
A sobering point. Is Egypt having any success getting stolen artifacts back, generally?
They actually have a strong record there. Since 2014, they've recovered over 30,000 artifacts that were illegally taken out of the country over the years. Sarcophagi, statues, you name it. So they are actively fighting this fight.
30,000 recovered.
Yeah.
That's impressive. What about the Rome exhibition? Is it canceled?
No, apparently it's still going ahead. They'll proceed with the other 129 artifacts, presumably under even tighter security now.
Wow. Still going ahead.
Yeah. But this whole incident just throws that fundamental question into sharp relief, doesn't it? How do we keep sharing these incredible pieces of our shared history with the world through exhibitions that millions can see, while also facing the enormous challenge of keeping them safe? Protecting these irreplaceable treasures. It's a constant tension between access and security.
A profound challenge indeed, balancing sharing history with preserving it for the future. Okay, from AI's cutting edge to ancient mysteries, we've certainly covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We really have. From designing viruses to losing ancient gold, from global markets to Olympic dreams, and personal stories in the spotlight. Quite the spectrum.
Each story giving us a different angle on the forces shaping our world today or connecting us to our past. We hope this conversation gave you some valuable insights.
Maybe spark some curiosity to dig even deeper into some of these topics on your own.
That's always the goal. So thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the news for September 17th, 2025.
Yes, thank you for listening. If you enjoyed the discussion, found it useful, please do like, subscribe, maybe leave a comment. It helps others find the deep dive.
And remember, we're back with new deep dives every day, exploring the stories that matter.
We look forward to having you with us again tomorrow.